to 8. Our next story might have you feeling tired just listening to this. 3 kayakers from Dorset are planning to paddle from Cherbourg to Swanage later this year to raise money for charity. Barry Ashdown, David Chalstrey and Mark Rainsley are raising money for the Dorset Youth Association and Leukaemia and Lymphoma Research. They spent the last few months training for the challenge, and I've got Barry and David in the studio with me this morning. Barry has just put on a, well, I can only describe it as a daft hat. Well, you were walking around looking perfectly normal until about 30 seconds ago, and you put a bowler on. What's going on here?
Well, it's my bowler hat. I mean, it's we came up with a sort of name of Back to Blighty, and then
I see.
we thought, well, that's something very British and traditional, so I got myself a bowler hat, and I hope to wear it all the way across the channel.
I like it. Okay, so tell me a little, Dave. Tell me a little bit more about exactly what you're doing. The route Cherbourg to Swanage. What are you travelling in?
We're travelling in 2 sea kayaks, which are about 6 metres long. The journey is about 65 nautical miles and goes through sort of 3 tidal cycles. The idea, like any good idea, came from over a pint, basically. and I must confess, my background is ultra running, so paddling was relatively new to me about 2 years ago. But Barry is a very experienced paddler, and Mark is an extremely experienced paddler as well.
Okay. I'm doing a little bit of basic maths here. There's 3 of you, there's 2 boats. So does that mean that one of them's a 2-seater?
No, 3
boats. There are 3 boats.
Oh, there are. Okay,
yeah,
right,
solo
right.
sea kayaks each.
Yeah.
You know, so,
and so does that mean, Barry, that you've got the advantage, or if he's an ultra runner, does that mean that he's super fit and he can just turn his hand to everything?
I think David will probably have an advantage in the fact he's done some long distance endurance events. You know, the most I've ever done is a sort of 12-hour paddle, and we're looking at this event, it could be 16 to sort of 20 hours. That's really. Right, yeah. So David's probably pushed the pain barrier a bit more than me,
right.
but I might have a slight advantage over.
So have you got a tow rope just in case he starts
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah. As long as we keep paddling.
And it's nothing to be sniffed at when you're doing this kind of thing. You know, 65 nautical miles in 3 sea kayaks. That's reasonably easy to do. You drag your sea kayaks down to the sea and jump in, but you need support crew, you need people keeping an eye on you, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
have you got that kind of support?
Yeah, we have. We've been very lucky. We've got a good mate of ours, Sean Vinicum, who works for a firm called the Solent Charter Company, and they're providing our cover in the form of a 10-metre very fast rib, although it won't be going particularly fast that day, and another boat to provide the cover and all our nutrition. Which has been incredibly generous of them,
yeah.
But absolutely essential because we're going through one of the busiest sea lanes in the world.
I was going to say, I swam the Solent a couple of years back. I didn't so much swim, I sort of floated because we timed it with the tides. It was great. It took me 3 hours, a beautiful sunny day, but I kind of fell in love with my support kayak paddler while I was swimming, because he was just the man who was there keeping me safe from huge ferries and occasionally giving me slices of orange and all that kind of stuff. So you will develop, I'm sure, a man crush on your support staff. Just be prepared for that. You know, when you get to Swanage at the other side, if you fall into his arms, just try and remember that thought. It's not love. Yeah. It's just a temporary, fleeting thing. And all of this, as I say, 2 charities involved. So, David, first of all, tell me about Dorset Youth Association. What do they do?
Okay.
Why support them?
My connection with the Dorset Youth Association is I became a trustee a few years ago, and the Dorset Youth Association had its 70th anniversary last year, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this, is to celebrate their 70 years. Now, primarily the Dorset Youth Association started off as a support, an overall support for a number of youth clubs, but the charities remit these days still extends to that, but also to providing a lot of government-backed projects to look after young people in Dorset, and the work is absolutely essential. In particular, we've got a drop-in centre in Dorset itself called Roots, which is staffed by some absolutely brilliant young people who look after a lot of other young people. And the alarming thing, I think, for us, and one of the reasons why we want to raise money, is that a lot of people to know that we gave out over 100 food parcels in Dorset last year to young children, which is astonishing for a town. There's an interesting statistic, which is that Dorset has the lowest borrowings per head of any town in the country. So to have that sort of those extremes is not really acceptable. So all the money is going to a really, really good cause.
And Barry's come in wearing his Leukaemia and Lymphoma Research T-shirt over his shirt, looking, as I say, dapper in his bowler hat. Why that charity as well?
I've got a couple of friends that are suffering from blood cancers, so leukaemia and lymphoma, so it's quite close to my heart. And my mum also raises a lot of money for the charity as well. There's a Christmas Carol concert at the Albert Hall every year, so it's almost like a family orientated sort of charity.
Well, Barry, if you're going to paddle across the channel, we better raise money for leukemia and lymphoma research.
So I sort of jumped on board and and I think it's a worthy cause.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, so as I say, you've got to raise the money. That's a big deal as well. It's not just doing the 65 nautical mile paddle. Have you got a target in mind of a sum you'd like to get to?
Yeah, but I think between both of us, we'd like to get to about 8,000 to 9,000.
Okay.
We've been, and people have been incredibly generous so far. Our sponsors are sort of split into two groups. We've got some really good corporate sponsors, very large local law firm. Am I allowed to say this?
Now you've asked me. No, don't say that. Whatever you do, we'll edit that out when we do this live. Okay.
So we've got some really good big corporate sponsors, but also lots of friends of ours, acquaintances, putting up money. We're at about between 5,000 and 6,000 at the moment. So everything counts.
And do you have a web? I was going to say, yes, you can.
It's www.crosschannelpaddle.co.uk. If you go to that site, it goes to an every click page, and also for either Barry or I, you can get hold of us.
I can't believe you just whispered to me on live radio. We need to explain how all this works here. So
right, okay.
And the plan is to go on the next sort of nice day after Easter. Is that about the size of it?
Yeah.
Go, Barry.
Yeah. Well, we need that weather window. I mean, so Solent Charters are looking at that for us, and we're just expecting a sort of cool, and it will probably be down tools and just
off you go.
Off we go. So So
well,
fingers crossed.
May the wind be at your back, and may the blisters not be too painful. And take your mobile phone, and if you can pause from the paddling midway across the channel and give us a call, that'd be terrific.
Yeah, we'd love to see that.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you in this morning.
Take care.
Can I have a go on your hat?
You certainly can.
There you go.
There you go.
Love it. Doesn't quite fit over the headphones. David Chalstrey and Barry. No, that's not going to work. Barry Ashdown.
Looks like Lauren Hart.
Landing from Cherbourg to Swanage after Easter. It's BBC Radio 7's Breakfast in Dorset, 14 minutes to 8 in our news headlines today.